Hello, we are back in Flight Simulator X flying the default Airbus A320, I believe this is, or it may be the A321, I can't remember now. But we're going to talk about how to fly jets today, because I've only just worked out how to do it in Flight Sim. Because usually I just end up crashing horrifically somewhere. So, let's get it started first. We are at Doncaster, Sheffield, that's EGCN. I think we're just going to fly a circuit of this and land back here. I've just noticed my control surfaces appear to be wonky. Like, why are my speed brakes hovering up slightly? Yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's just ignore that. We can compensate for it in flight, probably. So, first off, we need the battery switch, which is here. That gives us power, as you can see. Screens have lit up and such. Now we are going to start the APU. APU start, and there should be an APU gen somewhere. Nope. Ah, there we go. That's APU should be running, or should be starting at least. So now lights, as we did in the other aircraft, we need, if I can find them, strobe and rotating beacon. In fact, we're going to put all our lights on at this point. Seatbelt signs and such, very important. That's taxis, we don't want that at the minute. Right, so we're going to turn fuel pumps on. Now, to open fuel flow, you've got to hit Control F4, and then this should be easy. Ignition switch is on, so we've just hit the starter on engine 2. Don't think it really matters which you do first, but so you're gonna notice, yeah, as you see, both engine exhaust temperature and EGT, yeah, both temperature and power level have jumped up on that engine and stabilized. So we're going to hit the starter for engine 2. That's going to do the same. As you can see, N1 slowly coming up. It'll hit about 3% and then bounce up. There you go. So obviously normally we'd get permission from air traffic control to do this, but we're not doing it normally. Just one thing to comment on, different from previous episodes, I've now set up an analog control for the speed brake. So as you can see, I can open the speed brakes gently rather than dumping them all out at once. See? Oops. Just allows much smoother flying, which is quite important in a jet. So, we are going to take off from that runway, which I believe is runway 20. So we're going to set this up first. We want to fly out runway heading. Roughly. We want to accelerate to 330 knots, I'm going to say. We probably won't get a chance to reach that, but oh no, that's already set at 10 thou. Oops, altitude hold is off, that's good. Speed hold. Right, I think we're ready to taxi. So for the taxi, I'm going to put the ignition switch into normal mode. Taxi lights on. Okay, time to request pushback. That's Shift P, parking brake off. As you can see, we are now rolling backwards. I'm gonna take that taxiway there. Now what you might do is start the engines while you're pushing back like this, but having just one pilot makes that slightly harder. Okay, I'm going to stop the pushback there, because I think we can do it from here. Give it a little bit of power, and full right rudder should bring us round. Now, as I said, you're supposed to follow the yellow taxi lines, as I am attempting to do. Now we're on one of them. So from now on, I'm gonna try and do this whole thing from the cockpit view, using only instruments available in the cockpit. However, I may forget I've said I'm gonna do that, so you guys can see if I'm successful. I was taxiing a bit fast there, but it's fine. So while we're taxiing, we can set up for takeoff. I want one flap config 1. And I think we're good. Gonna want to bring the engines back to ignition on start. That's so that if one of the engines was to flame out on takeoff. Hopefully it'll restart itself. Again, here you would stop and request clearance from the tower. We're just going to assume it's an uncontrolled airfield and check ourselves. All looks clear. Landing lights on. Getting lined up on the runway. And let's go, full power. I don't know why I've got a master caution coming up. Let's get rid of that. I can. Whoops. Let's put heading hold, speed hold. Oh, that's not good. I thought to set the altitude to 10 foul earlier. This lag is really making it difficult. So normally this would be set up, and I was sure it was, but apparently not. Right, I'm now going to switch that to nav, which, as you can see, gives us a 360-degree view, so I can see how far we're travelling from where we took off. This is Doncaster here, EGCN, where we lifted off from. I'm also going to change the range to 20 mile. Let's put that up to 2,000 feet per minute. Gonna lose a little bit of speed doing that, but we're okay. We need to bring gear and flaps in. Yeah, I've probably just really broken the gear now. I still don't know what that master caution is warning me of. Can go back to normal. APU still running. Oops. That might be the problem. And generators, I forgot them. There we go, that solved it. So yeah, you'd normally flick those generators on when the engine started and turn the APU off. I forgot to do that because I'm silly. So we're going to let EGCN, which is just about there, get to 20 miles behind us, roughly, and then we're going to adjust our course 90 degrees to the, I'm going to say to the right. So we're going to fly a heading of 290, 290, and then get out that way a little bit. We're going to do that now. and then we'll adjust 90 again, which will put us on a parallel course with the runway. Basically, we're flying the same pattern we flew in the Beechcraft in the last flight sim episode, but we're just doing it a lot wider. I'm just going to change this to 40 so I can see. That really has not helped. I'm guessing that's EGCN there, but I'm not sure. Okay, very, hold on, bring the range to 20 again. There it is, I believe. Yeah, that's it, on that very edge there. You see that? What's our altitude reached? We're at altitude. We're pretty much on course now. Okay, I'm now going to swing it right by 90 again, which is going to be, give me 1 second, he's going to be back onto 20 degrees, or onto rather, not back onto, because we haven't flown 20 degrees yet. So this should put us on a parallel course with the runway. So, the thing I've figured out with jets is it's about being very slow and gentle with them, and lots of preparation. Because in a jet, it's big and heavy and doesn't manoeuvre overly quickly. And we've got a Bombardier down there, CRJ. Keep an eye on him, but he shouldn't be a problem. He's plenty far enough away at the minute. Now obviously if we had TCAS it'd probably be warning us of him, but we don't. Not on this aircraft normally would, but this is the default FSX aircraft and that doesn't have TCAS. Right, I'm going to start a descent to 5,000 at this point. If I can. That's 8,000. We want 5. Quite hard to click these things while... Oops, the aircraft's moving. There we go, and I'm going to want to slow to 250 at this point. I think sounds good. That's one thing you've got to be careful of. Jets don't slow down all that well. I'm going to use a bit of speed brake just to help it. As you see, I'm putting it out very slowly with my analog control for it, because dumping all the speed brake out at once would be a terrible idea. It'd feel like hitting a brick wall. Okay, I'm going to start bringing the speed brake back in as we come down to 260. Nope, we still need some speed brake. It's speeding up in the dive. Where's EGCN now? It's there, we're paralleling it at this point. Whoops, I did not mean to click that, I apologise. I'm going to put us into config 1 on flaps now. Yeah, this is one thing about jets. You want to be setting up early for the approach. You don't want to be leaving this stuff till the last minute. Just hitting a bit of turbulence there. Whoa, hitting quite a bit of turbulence. Especially when you don't have a second pilot to do this stuff for you. So we're now getting down to almost 5,000. I'm starting to retract the speed brake because the aircraft's going to level out, and that will start to slow us down as well. Speed brake is completely retracted. So just so you know what's going on, by the way, the autopilot is currently flying all of this because I'm lazy. So Doncaster is right off our beam over there somewhere. So shortly, when I'm thinking roughly when EGCN reaches this line, we're going to make another 90-degree turn, and at that point we're going to descend to 3,000 feet and slow to 200 knots. We'll put flap config 2 out then. That should bring us across to line us up. Then when we're in the right place, I'm gonna swing us to back onto a course of 200 degrees onto runway heading. I'm gonna slow us again to 180 roughly, and once we're on runway heading and we have runway in sight, I'm going to take over manual control at that point and fly the landing. So, we have a plan. Will it work? Probably not. In fact, I'm going to make the turn of EGXG. I'm not sure what that ICAO is, but I'm not sure what airport it is, but we're going to use it as our marker point. UK 11, I believe that's Ruffus Aerodrome, but I'm not sure, near York. Okay, at this point, as we're getting low, I'm gonna, that's the wrong switch, I'm gonna put that back to continuous ignition, or whatever it's called. Overhead panel looks good, everything looks okay. Right, we're gonna turn onto 110 degrees. That's 90 degrees right. Whoa, that's more than 110 by a lot. That's less than 110. Third time lucky, or fourth time. I said we were going to descend to 3,000 and slow to 200 if it'll cooperate. Alarms are going off, but that's fine. I think at this point I need to deploy gear as well, actually. I've lost the runway. I believe that's it there. No, maybe not. There it is. Okay, so we're configured for landing. I'm going to turn landing lights. Yeah, landing lights on. All those lights are on. Yep, that's all good. Okay. Bringing the speed brake in as we reach correct altitude and speed. Let's just see, can I put it back into ARC mode? I prefer that. Yeah, I can still see the airfield there, or the airport rather. Okay, we're doing good. Okay, I believe it's now time for the final turn. Not 230 odd. 200. Speed down to, let's make 175 actually. Let's use a little bit of air brake to do that. Looks like we turned slightly early, but that's fine. I now have runway in sight, or airfield there, and you can see it on the navigation display. So, time to disengage all autopilot controls. Oh yeah, we are having control surface issues, as I mentioned previously. I think that's calibration on my joystick. I thought I'd fixed it by setting dead zones, but apparently it's got worse. Like, I am full over to the left at the minute, and this is what we're getting. Yeah, this is going to make landing difficult. We've slowed down way too much at this point. I was focusing on my control issues and not my speed and flying. Let's bring... Whoa, 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 whoa. So, as I was saying, be gentle and no sudden movements. As you can see, I'm doing very well at that. Not. Apologies, just bumped my mic there. At this point, I'm trying to hold roughly 175 knots until I'm lined up for the runway. I now see the runway itself. Look, just there. So I'm going to start letting it slow. Oh, we have picked up some speed there. I'm going to let it slow now. I think I'm aiming to land around 140 knots in this aircraft. I'm going to bring final flaps out. That's full at this point. Control issues. Probably should send a mayday at this point, but we don't have the facilities to do that, and nor would it do us any good. You can see as the aircraft's getting slow, it's getting more jittery with the controls and also more sluggish to respond. That's what usually happens. I've just got to be very careful with these control issues at this point. Whoops, we're speeding up again. That's not what I want to do. Air brakes, or speed brake spoilers rather. Whoa, we are losing height there. So if I can put it down on the runway, I'll be happy with this. You know what they say, any landing you can walk away from must be a good landing. So at this point I'm just sort of juggling spoiler and throttle to keep the speed roughly in the right place, because obviously as we lose height we speed up, but as I pull back to slow our descent we slow down. Now this aircraft, when we touch down, we should get full spoilers come out anyway. So we just have to make sure we touch down safely. We've slowed down too much. It's going to be a stall.
Don't sink.
I'm looking
Don't
at
sink.
the pappies at this point, and
Don't
I'm
sink.
too high.
Don't sink.
I'm too
Don't
fast
sink.
now, that's bad.
Don't sink.
Why
Sink
did my
brake.
throttles get stuck? Oh, that's
Up.
very bad. Well, we're down. We bounced a lot, but we're down. Oops, just not going to touch the brakes right now, just going to use reversers. That was a really awful landing because of my control issues. Apologies for that. But we're down. Let's bring flaps up. So I'm going to try and do for the next video a longer flight. I know this has been quite a long video anyway, but I'm going to try and do a full flight with an aircraft that hopefully, if I can get it working, will have an FMC. I'm thinking from somewhere in London across to Europe. I'll probably, if I can figure out how to do it, I'll probably do a time-lapse thingy, maybe. So we're just gonna stop here, parking brake on, and shut the engines down. There we go. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments below.